Welcome to another Microsoft Power Platform real-world story session brought to you by the PowerCat team. My name is Denise Moran, and today we'll hear from Ernst & Young, an organization of over 250,000 employees, on why they picked the Power Platform as their platform of choice to digitally transform several core processes. We have Gregory Dupont and Shariar Kadir, who will talk about their journey and demo their solution.
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Dupont, and I'm here today from Ernst & Young to share a tool we recently released called Assurance Management Tool. This tool leverages model-based Power Apps as well as other components from the Power Platform. I'd like to share our journey and approach on how we chose Power Apps for this application. My co-presenter, Shariar Kadir, will dig a little bit deeper into our approach as well as demo our new tool. Again, my name is Greg Dupont, and I've been with Ernst & Young for about 20 years. My background includes software development as well as software architecture. My current role is as product owner of the Assurance Regulatory and Compliance portfolio. My global team of engineers build and manage about 80 products across the global and Americas regions. We build applications that mainly support quality initiatives across the firm. Ernst & Young is a global professional service firm focused on assurance, tax, transaction, and advisory services. We have over 250,000 employees located in 700 locations in over 150 countries. I get asked a lot, well, why have you chosen to stay with the firm for most of your career? And to be honest, I answer it's about the people. During my course of my career here, I've worked with the best and the brightest across the industries and technology. They bring diverse experience, diverse backgrounds. It really makes the environment engaging and always changing. So why did we choose the Power Platform? I broke it up into two main reasons. The first is technology driven. As a portfolio owner, I'm always being asked to deliver more value. Basically, that means delivering more applications faster, cheaper, and at higher quality. The second point is business enablement. Having the opportunity to empower business resources to develop IT applications is very powerful. My first point is technology. To really understand where we're going, you need to understand where we came from. Traditionally, we've built three-tier web applications hosted on-prem. This is a traditional Microsoft stack, ASP.NET, a C# middle layer, and SQL Server in the back end. What are some of the challenges we've seen with some of these applications? No mobile interface. It's very challenging to make a responsive application with this technology. Implementing accessibility is also very challenging. Serializing and deserializing data between the layers of the application is also challenging and time consuming. You know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of developer time to manage reading the data from SQL Server, serializing that into objects, and serializing that into JSON in the front end, and sending that data back the other way also. And we've seen over the years that we spent a considerable amount of time managing that code. So the third point is data stored in application transactional databases. This isn't inherently bad by any means, but to enable that to integrate with AI or ML or BI reporting, it's challenging. And the fourth point is not hosted in the cloud. We're getting pushed from many points to move everything to the cloud. So what do we do about that? Right? We moved on to what I'll call our traditional steps, really more of a modern web application hosted in the cloud. We started leveraging JavaScript front ends, whether it be Angular or other JavaScript frameworks, to build our user interfaces. We built out a web services middle layer. This enabled us to reuse our business logic and other components in the middle layer. We also implemented not only SQL policy, where we use the right data storage technology for purpose. And fourthly, we implemented Docker and Kubernetes. This helped us manage these applications and moving them to the cloud. So after we made these quote, quote, modern applications, so how can we continue to improve? Well, one of the points I've noticed is that we still spend a lot of time, a lot of developer time creating user front ends as well as managing that code for those front ends. That's when we found Power Apps. Microsoft Power Apps checks many of the boxes for enterprise application developers. One, great drag and drop interface. They handle your common interface building tasks. It's mobile enabled out of the box. It has facilities for accessibility, as well as many of the enterprise abilities that you'd request out of most applications. It's integrated with your Active Directory. It has extensive role-based access control. It's all in the cloud, secure, etc., etc. My second main point is about business enablement. I think we've all seen or heard about the business team member who builds their own tool that solves their business problem. And the challenge is that the tool becomes very popular. Then all of a sudden it needs to be integrated with other applications in the IT landscape, or it doesn't scale or has other challenges. I believe IT should be an evangelist to our business partners to provide them with the tools with built-in controls and capabilities that implement IT standards out of the box. For us, Power Platform has done that. The tool we're going to be sharing today is called the Assurance Management Tool. This is a reporting and business process tool used by executive management to help manage quality and risk across the firm. This tool started out as a citizen developer tool built in Microsoft Access. What were some of the challenges that it saw? They had manual ETL processes, manually importing and exporting data. The process was not scalable. They had challenges adding additional functionality. Eventually, they needed to come to IT to help resolve the growing popularity of this application. I'm going to hand it off to my co-presenter, Sherry Cotter, to dig into more details about our choices and the application. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharia Kader. I'm a technical architect at Ernst & Young, and my primary focus is the assurance, regulatory, and compliance portfolio. Back in the summer of 2019, Greg and I, along with an extended architecture team, were asked to review a request for an assurance management tool. The primary objective of the tool was to capture and augment information gathered from several ERP and HR systems on a regular basis. This is, of course, not an uncommon request, and the portfolio had several different mature options to tackle this business case. The portfolio currently supports applications that range from simple SharePoint sites to multi-cluster containerized application deployments, both on-prem and in the cloud. With this as the backdrop, I would like to jump into a few slides that showcase our decision-making process, which took us on this journey to include Power Apps, specifically model-driven Power Apps development within the portfolio. Since no-code approach was not our first choice for solution delivery, so we handpicked a few platforms from the magic quadrant of the low-code space. Then we dug in and performed capability-based analysis for these categories. I will highlight a couple of indicators that we were really looking out for. Does the platform align with firm's future roadmap? Is platform considered a leader in the industry? Does it have a well-established community or support for the services being offered? Does the platform offer multiple geographical locations that can honor in-country data privacy needs when it comes time for deployment? As this slide indicates, the initial results around the capability dimensions were not that promising. So we expanded the research to include more platforms. Although Power Platform performed better against a few of the capabilities, but other platforms and custom development offered more in terms of high-level business functionality being requested. The initial analysis was not conclusive. And with only a few hours left before presenting the result to the executive committee, I thought of giving Power Platform a test drive myself. With a couple of YouTube videos that were available on model-driven application development in the summer of 2019, and by watching them at twice the speed, I was able to put together a prototype that showcased key business feature requests, like search, filter, ability to add attachments, and ability to export. This 2-hour prototype gave us the break we needed to expand into a more in-depth analysis against real business needs. So we opened up the floor for a vendor cook-off. 2 platforms were chosen. And for this phase, the features demanded by the business were the ability to have a granular access control, the ability to have form-based views with drill downs, and the ability to create business process workflows, which could be configured with ease. The cook-off results are shown in the slide, with Power Platform being very competitive or the best choice in each of the categories that were being measured, with attachments, export, and notification at the top, and with workflow at the very bottom. Power Platform measured very high in each of those comparisons. The detailed evaluation also included looking at long-term platform capabilities, which included the future growth of the platform, its leadership in the market, and its ability to offer immersive user experience via integration with existing applications like Office. And finally, above all, the low total cost of ownership over time. Our final assessment after conducting these detailed analysis was to look back. Although there was an increased sense of confidence within the portfolio that we can deliver on our traditional strengths, but those were mired in the lessons that we have learned many times and that have been stressed in this presentation. The complexity of design, increased level of coordination, too many teams across the organization, and the rigor and the discipline that is required to overcome the communication challenges. This, of course, led to our final proposal. And after a 3-month-long evaluation, we chose model-driven platform as our platform of choice. We believe it offers every citizen in the firm the ability to get involved. Also, the platform comes with built-in guardrails to allow rapid experimentation that can lead to quick wins, which means more people can benefit by trying things out on their own. Now, I would like to quickly jump into a demo to showcase a comprehensive solution that the AMT team was able to deliver to its audience within 6 weeks. Before jumping into the actual demo, I would like to highlight the primary intent of the assurance management tool. As mentioned before, it was designed to serve a niche requirement for the EY Americas leadership team, whereby they could assess quality and risk metrics across EY clients and personnel. The existing approach in place to provide this functionality was to capture information from several different ERP and HR systems and present it as Excel reports or Excel templates. Of course, that presented a lot of challenges. For one, there was no approval to supporting documentation that could be kept in a central repository. It made it very difficult to enforce any audit procedures on it, and there was no easy way to facilitate a flexible workflow for future decision making. I'd like to go back to the slide that we presented for the vendor cook-off. And the requirements or primary business requirements that we were really looking out for, not just the low hanging fruit like search and filter, but also the more granular role-based access, the workflow, how all of this kind of fits neatly into the Power Apps, model-driven apps, and which our development team primarily composed of a couple of citizen developers, how they were able to take that and quickly turn it around using simply out-of-the-box feature. As anyone who's familiar with the model-driven Power Apps, this is a very familiar landing page where we have the banner on top with our EY logo and the sitemap, which turns out to be various entry points for us for AMT in the sidebar. This is the landing page for the application. which will offer primarily act as an anchor, as well as will offer navigation into the various views that the business requested. Jumping into the client screens, which again is a listing across all the clients that AMT currently houses. Looking across the top, it has the familiar out-of-the-box model-driven filtering, search, and the ability to export to Excel or import from Excel, which actually addresses some of the primary business needs. Jumping into a more granular look into the client's view. This presents a more focused view of the client. The information is captured from enterprise master data and presented to the user in terms of score. The partner view is fairly similar to the client view. Again, the same information up on top, which allows the user to export or to import, which were one of the primary business objectives. And again, jumping back into the client views or partner view, it also offers a very familiar drill down approach where you can capture the comments, reviews, and validation of the information that is being captured for a particular personnel. The workflows are the highlight of AMT and the model-driven apps because they provide one of the essential features that make AMT what it is. One of the primary business requests was to have an advanced workflow that could be easily configured, and that could offer a more involved configuration in terms of adding steps and changing them over time. And towards that end, as you can see, there is a lot of flexibility that is offered out of the box by model-driven apps. And there are several different options, and each one actually triggers different stages. The information can be captured or updated and provides a lot of flexibility for future use cases. Jumping into the designer view of the same workflow, as you can see, there are several steps that have been configured for one of the workflows. And there is another workflow which similar a number of steps. And again, this is to highlight the ability for a model-driven business process flow to capture an intricate process flow with several different feedback loops back into the initiate states. Here's a look at another workflow within the system, and similarly, there is a lot of back and forth between the different stages that eventually end up in the completion of the business workflow. To wrap up the demo, another major feature, an essential feature for AMT was having a very granular access control for the entire system. There are different layers of approvals within the system and a hierarchy of roles that needed to be maintained. And as you can see out of the box, there were a lot of roles which we could create, and we could quickly enforce several layers of CRUD based operation, as well as the ability to show and hide certain things based on the logged in users access. I would like to conclude this session with this slide, which summarizes some of the key takeaways. Using Power Apps as another flavor within our service delivery, within regulatory and compliance portfolio, we were able to keep the design simple and lean. We were able to engage a lot of individuals across the firm without too much communication or coordination. All of the deficiencies that we could find were readily addressed either by citizen developers or by reaching out to Microsoft and their product group. Again, new features as they arrive are going to be readily accommodated by not only the platform itself, but anyone who has access to Power Apps platform as a citizen developer. Thank you for staying with us through this session. I hope it helped answer some of your questions. AMT started off as a simple idea for the regulatory and compliance portfolio, which we were able to take from inception to delivery in less than 3 months. I hope you similarly benefit from using Power Platform.
Thanks, Greg and Shariar, for that detailed walkthrough. And thank you all for watching. Look forward to seeing you at another real-world story session. Bye for now.